I'm now going to record the after-school shiur for today. It will be the last one before Pesach. We were up to Chavav Amud Beis, about halfway down the Amud. Matana, Pligiba, Rav Acha, V'Ravina. Yesterday we learned that if you have a Beit Knesset, you can exchange it for something else, because the Kedusha will go off the Beit Knesset on the thing you got in return. You can sell a Beit Knesset for cash, the Kedusha will go off the Beit Knesset and go on the cash. But you can't rent it to someone because the Kedusha is still there. And if you borrow money, you can't give away the Beit Knesset as security or collateral, because usually the person who got it as security would use it, but he's not allowed to use it for personal use. So what about matana? Can you give the Beit Knesset away as a gift, and the recipient should be able to do what he wants with it? Pligiba, there's a dispute between Rav Acha versus V'Ravina and Ravina. Chad Aser, one says it's prohibited, but Chad Shori, one says it's allowed. Manda Aser, the one who prohibited it, Bahai Tifka Kedushasa, in this way will the Kedusha go off just because you gave it to somebody else? How could the Kedusha be removed from it? And where does the Kedusha go? Uman Deshori, the one who allows it, says, Ilav Dahavale Hanomine. If the one who gave the shul away to the recipient wouldn't have gotten something from the recipient, Lahavayavle, he wouldn't have given it the Beit Knesset. So therefore, Havel Hadar, after Havale Matana Kizvini. So the gift becomes like a sale, and the Kedusha from the Beit Knesset goes on whatever the one who gives the Beit Knesset away, whatever he got, becomes Kodesh instead of the Beit Knesset that he gives away. Very important, halacha is Tan Rabbanan, the Rabbanan taught in Hebraisa, Tashmishay mitzvah, things that were used for the purpose of a mitzvah, and Nizrokin. After you don't need it anymore, you can throw it out, but in a respectable manner. Tashmishay Kedusha, things that were used for Kedusha, for something that had a Kodesh Baruch Hu's name, Psukim of Tanakh, Nignazin, need Geniza, need to be buried. Be'eluain Tashmishay mitzvah, what are the examples of things used for mitzvah? A schach of a sukkah, a lulav, a shayfer, tzitzis, Be'eluain Tashmishay Kedusha, what are things that were used for Dvarim Shebikdusha? The luskemei Sfarim, sacks that had Sifrei Kodesh in it, or tefillin, a mezuzahs, a bag for tefillin, a cover of a mezuzah, the tikshal sefer Torah, the cover of a sefer Torah, nar tikshal tefillin, the cover of a tefillin, the ritzuos seyim and the ritzuos of tefillin, and the Rishonim point out from this Gemara it seems that the ritzuos of tefillin are tashmishay kedusha, they service kedusha but don't have a kedusha of their own, but that's a dispute. Amar Rav says Mireish, in the beginning Hava Mina, I used to say Hai Kursaya, the bima that you put a Sefer Torah on, Tashmish the Tashmishu. It's only a Tashmish of a Tashmish, because on top of the bima they used to put a cloth. So the Sefer Torah goes on the cloth, so the cloth is under the Sefer Torah, that's Tashmish Kedusha, and the bima is under the cloth. So it's a second stage, and therefore you could actually Vishori, you're allowed to throw it out. Kevan, since the Chazina that I saw, the Moisve Ilave, that you put on the bima directly without a cloth, a Sefer Torah, I said, Tashmish Kedushahu. Evidently, the bima itself has been used for Kedusha, and v'asr, and it's asr to throw it out. Amar Rav, and Rav says, Mereish, in the beginning, Hava Amina used to say, Prisa, there was a curtain that used to line the interior of the Aron Kodesh. Tashmish, the Tashmishu. It services something which services the Aron Kodesh. Because the Aron Kodesh services the Sefer Torah, and this curtain services the Aron Kodesh, so therefore you could throw it out. Kevan, since the Chazina that I saw, the Aifile, they take the curtain inside the Aron Kodesh and they double it, and the Manchi Sifra Leve, and they put a Sefer Torah down upon it on a regular basis. I said Tashmish Kedushahu. It means that it services the Davar Shebikdusha, but Aser, and it's Aser to throw it out. Omar Rav, and Rav says, Hai Tevusa di Irpat, an Aron Kodesh that fell apart, Mi Abda Teva Zutrasi Shari, to make a smaller Aron Kodesh is allowed. But Kursaya Asir, to make a bima is Asir, even though the bima also has a Sefer Torah put on it, but the Sefer Torah is put on the bima from time to time. The Aron Kodesh has the Sefer Torah in it all the time, therefore the Aron Kodesh has a higher Kedusha than the bima. Rava says high prisa. This curtain that's inside the Aron Kodesh, the bola when it wore out, the mebde prisa lesifrei shari. You're allowed to sew it into a cover, a coat, for a jacket for a sefer Torah. But lechumashin, to make a cover for chumashin, that's one sefer of Breishis or Shmois or Vayikra, even if it's in a scroll, aser, because it used to serve the Aron Kodesh, which served the sefer Torah, so you can't use it now to serve chumashin. But Rava says hani zvili the chumashi, sacks that they held chumashim in, the kamterei the sifrei, and boxes that they held sefer Torah in. Tashmish Kedusha Ninu is considered Tashmish Kedusha, and therefore V'nignazin needs to be buried, and it can't be thrown away. Pshita, it's obvious. Maudatema, because maybe we could say, Hani, these sacks and boxes, Lav L'chavod Avidan, they're not there to honor the, they're not there to honor the Chumashim and the Sifrei Torah. L'naturi ba'alma avidi, maybe they're only meant to protect but not to honor. Kamash malan, that it also is for honor and therefore it's kaidish. Now, for instance, let's say if a Sfarim store gets a box of mezuzahs, right, or a box of parshas of tefillin in a box, comes by FedEx or by courier, that box is not tashmisha kedusha because it's only meant to protect it, but it's not meant to honor it. However, let's say the cover of a mezuzah, if it's a nice cover and it's meant to honor the mezuzah, not only to protect it, so it's tashmisha kedusha and it needs geniza. Hahu beit knishta, there was this beit knesset, the Yehudai Romoi, Jews who came from Rome that now lived in a city in Bavel. The Hava Patiach, this shul had a door that was open, lahu idruna, to another room, and in the other room, sometimes there used to be a mace, somebody that was niftar, before the kavura. So in this idruna, in this outer room, there was actually somebody who was lying dead. But Kahanim wanted to go into the Beis HaKnesses to pray Hasam over there. But they couldn't go into the Beis HaKnesses because there's a door open to the other room where the mace is, and the Kahanim would become Tamei Mace. Atu, so they came, Amru Leil Rav, and they told Rav their problem. Amar Luhu, so Rav said, Dulu Tevusa, pick up the Aron Kodesh, Aisvua, and put it in the doorway to block the doorway. Because the Havilei, because the Aron Kodesh is a Kli Eitz, is a wooden utensil, it was a wooden Aron Kodesh, but He'asoi, which is made lanachas, to sit in one place, it's not meant to move around. And the rule is that Kli Eitz Ha'asoi lanachas, a wooden utensil, a wooden box, which is meant to sit in one place. Let's say you have a large cabinet, or you have a bookcase, it's meant to sit in one place. Kli Eitz Ha'asoi lanachas, a wooden piece of furniture, which is meant to sit in one place, Ein Makabel Tumah, can't become Tameh. Because the Kli Eitz is only Makabel Tumah if it can be manipulated and handled. And since this is not meant to manipulate, so it's not Makabel Tumah, it can't become Tameh. And once this Aron Kodesh cannot become Tameh, therefore now V'chaytzeitz B'pnei HaTumah. So now this Aron Kodesh will block the Tumah from coming from the room where the Niftar is into the Beit Knesset, so the Kahanim can go in. Amrulei, so the Rabbanan said, L'Rava to Rava, but sometimes the mitaltili lay kimanach sefer Torah ilavei. Sometimes this Aron Kodesh is put on its side, and they actually put a sefer Torah on it, and they move it around. So v'havalei mitaltila mole v'rekam. So the Aron Kodesh is a utensil which is handled sometimes full and sometimes empty. So it is not something which just sits in one place. It is a mobile Aron Kodesh. So therefore it could be makabel tumah. So Rava said, if so, if it's actually a mobile and movable Aron Kodesh, layefsher, there's nothing we can do, and therefore the Kahanim can't go to daven unless you find some other thing that's not Makabel Tumah to block the entranceway. Amar Marzutra says, Mitbachais Sfarim, the covers of Sfarim Shabalu that are worn out, you can't use them anymore. So Aisan Tachrichem, you sew it up and you make from it garments, shrouds, L'meis mitzvah. If there's somebody that's dead and he can't afford shrouds and there's nobody to take care of him, so you take old covers of a Sefer Torah, you make something to bury this man, V'zuhi Genizasan, and that will be the Geniza for these Tashmisha Kedusha, because you'll bury them together with the Nifter. Omar Rav, and Rav says Sefer Torah Shabola. If a Sefer Torah wore out, Gainz in Isa, you bury it. Eitzel Talmid Chacham next to a scholar. Afilu Shaina Halachas. Even if he's somebody who merely learned Mishnayos, but he never, or Brises, but he never saw halacha in practice. He never learned halacha lamasa. It's still good enough. Amar Rav Acha Bar Yaakov. Rav Acha Bar Yaakov says Ubichli Cheres. But you bury the Sefer Torah in a kli cheres, in a clay utensil, so that at least it lasts longer, which is a sign of respect, even though we're burying it. Shenemer, as it says by Yirmiyahu in Perik Lamed Beis, that he had a document, and Hashem told him in a Satan b'kli cheres, put the document in a clay utensil, l'man yamdu yamim rabim, so it should last longer. But here, even though you're burying this Sefer Torah that wore out, but nevertheless, you still want to show it respect that we're putting it into a keli which will preserve it. Amar Rav Papi, Mishmei de Rava, Rav Papi said in the name of Rava, Mi Beit Knishta leBei Rabbanan Shari. If you have a Beit Knesset and you want to change it to a Beit Midrash, you're allowed to, because a Beit Midrash has a higher Kedusha, a place of learning has a higher Kedusha than a place of prayer. But Mi Beit Rabbanan leBeit Knishta Aser. To change from a Beit Midrash to a Beit Knesset is prohibited, because the Beit Midrash has a higher Kedusha, and Ma'alim B'Kodesh. By Kodesh you have to go up, V'lo Maridin. You can't go down to change from a Beit Midrash to a Beit Knesset. Because Rav Papi holds a place of learning is higher than a place of prayer. Rav Papa Mishmei de Rava Masni Ibcha. Rav Papa, in the name of Rava, he holds the other way around, that a Beit Knesset has a higher Kedusha, so you can change from a Beit Midrash to a Beit Knesset, but not from a Beit Knesset to a Beit Midrash. Amar Rav Acha, so Rav Acha says, Kavotei de Rav Papi Mistavra. Rav Papi is more logical, that a Beit Midrash is higher, because Damar Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Rabbi Shua ben Levi also says that Beit Knesset muter lasoso Beit Midrash, that from a Beit Knesset you're allowed to make a Beit Midrash, which means that a Beit Midrash is higher. Shmamino, so it's proven that Rabbi Shua ben Levi also holds like Rav Papi, that a Beit Midrash is higher. Dorish Bar Kapara made a drosha, Mai Dechtiv, what does it mean when it writes? By Yisrael, Nevuzarada and the general of Nebuchadnezzar burnt at Beit Hashem, the house of Hashem, at Beit HaMelech and the palace, at Kol Bata Yerushalayim and all the houses of Yerushalayim, but Kol Bayit Gadol, Sorav Ba'esh, and Chol Beit Gadol, Sorav Ba'esh, and every large bayit he burnt in fire. Beit Hashem is a Beit HaMikdash, that's the Beit HaMikdash. Beit HaMelech, Elu Palter and Shal Melech, that's the palace of the king. Beit Kol Bata Yerushalayim, Kimash Ma'an, the houses of Yerushalayim, the way it sounds, he burnt the private homes. Beit Kol Beit Gadol, Sorav Ba'esh, and every big bayit he burnt in fire. What is Beit Gadol? Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Shua ben Levi have a dispute. Chadam, one says that Beit Gadol is Mokom Shem Megadlim Bo Torah, a place where Torah is promoted, is increased in a Beit Midrash. The Chadam Mokom Shem Megadlim Bo Tefillah, a place where prayer is increased. That's a Beit Knesset. Manda Omer, the one that says that a Beit Gadol is Torah, the Chtiv, it's written a pasuk in Yeshaya Perik Mem Beis, Hashem Chafetz Leman Tzidko Yagdil Torah V'Yadir. Hashem desires to make the Jews righteous, so he made a Torah Gadol, he made a big Torah, V'Yadir, and mighty. So you see that the word Gadol is referring to Torah. So therefore, a Beit Midrash, where you learn Torah, is called a Beit Gadol. Uman Domer, the one that says that the word Gadol relates to Tefillah, because the Chsiv, it's written that Yehoram HaMelech told a young man, Saprana Hagdolot Asher Asa Elisha. Please tell me the Gdolah, the great things that Elisha did. Elisha Da'avad, and the great things that Elisha did, Berachmehu Da'avad, he did it with prayer. So Beit Gadol would be a place of prayer, because Elisha did Dvarim Gedolim, big things, through prayer. Tistayim, it was a dispute between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Shua ben Levi. I want to prove to you that the Rabbi Shua ben Levi, the Amar, that Rabbi Shua ben Levi called the Beit Gadol Mokom Shemegadlim Bo Torah, a place where Torah was increased. Because Damar Rabbi Shua ben Levi says, Beit HaKnesset muter lasota Beit Medrash. We just learned that according to Rabbi Shua ben Levi and Rav Papi, you can change a Beit HaKnesset to a Beit Midrash, because the Beit Medrash is larger. So if the pasuk says Beit Gadol, probably the Beit Gadol, according to Rabbi Shua ben Levi, was a Beit Midrash.